Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 16th anniversary spring benefit event for the Catholic Coalition for Special Education. My name is David Cobley. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here and be part of this year's event and help them raise money for such a great cause. I work with the Zuccardi family. It's a third generation winemaking family from Mendoza, Argentina, and it's my honor to share some knowledge and some great tasting notes with the wines that we've paired to go with the beautiful menu from none other than Rose's Luxury from Washington, D.C. What a great restaurant partner you have with those guys. And again, it's a pleasure for me to be partnered with them with their food and wine pairings. So tonight, I just want to share some information about the great family that I work for, the Zuccardi family. It's a third generation winemaking family from Mendoza, Argentina. And we have two wineries that you're going to experience tonight. One being Bodega Santa Julia, under that label there. And the other one being Zuccardi Valle de Uco. So yes, we have two wineries in Mendoza, Argentina. Let me tell you a little bit about the family history. It's interesting. Alberto Zuccardi, back in the 1960s, he's an engineer, and always thinking about how to improve things, how to make things better as engineers' minds work, how to innovate, how to be innovative. And where we are in Mendoza, where we're producing wine, is a desert climate. We get very little amounts of rainfall. So it's very necessary for any kind of agriculture to have access to water. So Alberto Zuccardi had enhanced and improved an existing irrigation system. And one of his friends was so impressed by this irrigation system, he said, you know what you should do is purchase a small vineyard plot and use that as a showroom to show off how your irrigation system worked. And that way you can show other farmers and sell your irrigation system to other farmers. Well, luckily for us, Alberto Zuccardi fell in love with viticulture. He fell in love with agriculture and being part of the earth and working in the earth every day. And so that led to him purchasing more vineyard plots. And as the second generation, his son grew up working in the vineyards. Jose Zuccardi, the very famous Jose Zuccardi, also developed this passion for viticulture and agriculture and being in the vineyards. And he passed that along to the third generation, Sebastian Zuccardi, Julia Zuccardi, for which the winery is named Santa Julia. And then also his son, other son, Miguel Zuccardi, who produces beautiful olive oil out of Argentina, is considered some of the best olive oil out of Argentina. So it's a pleasure for me to work with such a passionate family. I think it's so important for you as consumers to understand the kind of people who work so tirelessly and with so much passion and dedication behind these products for you. For example, at Santa Julia, we're the number one producer of organic wines in Argentina. That going back to 2000, 2001, we certified our first vineyard organic. And now, with over 750 acres certified, we're the number one producer of organic wines in Argentina. What does that mean? That means it represents the dedication to taking care of the environment, to taking care of the community, to taking care of the people that the Zuccardi family has made such an investment in that. And just makes such lovely wines through organic farming, through using organic practices and taking care of the surrounding flora, the surrounding fauna. We have a better ecosystem, which helps us produce better quality grapes. And thus, we've found that we're getting such great quality organic wines, and I'm excited for this first wine with the Chardonnay, with the smoked onion dip crudité, Brussels sprouts, Caesar salad with apples. This is going to be so great with those two dishes. This wine to me is it's so refreshing. Many of you may associate Chardonnay with being creamy and oaky and so on and so forth. This is a much more refreshing style of Chardonnay. It's much more crisp, has much more elegance and acidity, and of course at a price point that you can drink every day on the daily for your first glass of wine, or if you just prefer white wine. It's just a great go-to bottle of white wine to have in your collection. And it's also organic, so you can feel better about knowing that you're not taking any kind of outside insecticides or pesticides or any kind of chemicals into your systems. So we like to say it is a healthy way to drink. So I hope you enjoy this Chardonnay with those first two courses, and find that for those of you who are saying you don't really like Chardonnay, I have a feeling that you're probably going to like this as a white wine. Forget that it's Chardonnay. With the next course, we have rigatoni alla vodka, and I do love pasta. And you know what else I've found is that Malbec is actually such a great pairing wine with pasta. It can be. If it's not overly oaked and it has some acidity and some freshness to it, it doesn't overpower the pasta. It fits right in with some of those other Italian wines you might select. It's a good replacement, a good other option, if you will, to go with some of your Italian dishes. Such great red cherry fruit, some blueberry fruit, a little bit of black pepper spice, a little bit of raspberry bramble, and just so delicious. This happens to come from our Reserva line. I talked about our organic line and how we're the #1 producer of organic wine in Argentina. Another great thing that we do at Santa Julia is we produce wines up in the mountains of the Andes, up in the foothills of the Andes Mountains. With our Reserva line, you can see the Andes Mountains depicted there on the labels, where it's cooler climate, it's higher altitude, it's even drier there than it is in the base of Mendoza, and you get a much different style of wine, more elegance with the cooler climate, and really great quality grapes coming from the areas of the Uco Valley up there, the foothills of the Andes Mountains. So I hope you enjoy that Malbec. Keep in mind, Argentina's roots go back to a lot of it to Italy, so they do eat a lot of pasta. They have a lot of Italian influence, and Malbec being our grape in Argentina, trust me, they drink a lot of Malbec with their pizzas and their pastas and other Italian dishes. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now we'll go and move into the other winery with Zuccardi Valle di Uco to explain a little bit about that. Both wines were produced under the same roof at the same winery where Santa Julia is made. And then in 2013, after Jose's son Sebastian, who oversees the winemaking at both wineries, convinced him to build this beautiful state-of-the-art facility where he could have a dedicated space to really invest in research and development of studying the different terroirs of the Uco Valley, the different growing sites, the different microclimates, and all of the beautiful wines that he felt like he could produce after studying enough about this beautiful place where they have vineyards and are farming way up at the high altitude parts of the Uco Valley. We have Cabernet Franc. Cabernet Franc is a great red varietal, originally from France, that found its way to Mendoza, to Argentina, and has turned out to adapt very well. It happens to be one of my favorite varietals. I actually have a dog named Frank. It's spelled like Franc, but pronounced like Frank. That's how much I love this grape. It has such beautiful red cherry fruit flavor, beautiful black pepper spice, a little bit of green pepper that's very typical of Cabernet Franc. But let me tell you, it's a wine made for meat, and for sure will be a great accompaniment to the smoked brisket with those beautiful smoky flavors, beautiful tender meat, and even with the horseradish, the nice fruit-forward components of this Cabernet Franc will be a great marriage with those spicy flavors you get from the horseradish. So I hope you enjoy that from Zuccardi Valle di Uco, the Cabernet Franc Q. Last but not least, my friends, we have Malamato. It's a Malbec made in a port style. So if you're familiar with port, with the famous dessert wine from Portugal, the Zuccardis were inspired to make a dessert wine because there wasn't a dessert wine that Argentina was known for. But they knew, they believed in the great Malbec, and that if they could produce these beautiful wines like they do, normal, red wines from Malbec, they believed that using spirits, they could produce wine in a port style, dessert style, a port style wine using Malbec. So this Malamato is the first Malbec style port out of Argentina, and it is absolutely phenomenal. Beautiful red fruit notes, dried fig notes, dried raisin notes, sweet and smooth and silky, and it's something you're going to want to sip on all night long, especially on these colder nights before we get into spring. With that salted caramel chocolate tart with whipped cream and sea salt. Again, I could drool right now, but I'm not going to do that on camera. I know you guys are really going to enjoy that, and it actually wouldn't be that bad with your midnight snack of oatmeal cookies and oat milk. So I hope you guys have learned something new. I hope you found some new favorite wines, to put in your cellar, to put in your weekly rotation, your daily rotation. Wine is such an important part of a meal. It's such an important part of experiencing and sharing time together with your loved ones, with your friends and loved ones. So again, I hope that some of these find it into your home again beyond this evening. Thank you again to the Catholic Coalition for Special Education for including Familia Zuccardi and myself in this event, along with Rosa's Luxury. And raise a glass to yourselves, a toast to you all for supporting such an incredibly great cause, taking care of so many people that really need it. And also be sure to check out the great items on the auction site, including none other than a baking class from the season 5 winner of ABC's Great American Baking Show. I might get on there and bid for that myself to learn maybe a new trick to try to impress my wife. Again, thank you all for having me. I hope you enjoyed everything. Cheers to you guys, and wish you all the best in the days to come.